Hello, glorious audience and watchers of this, our weekly San Diego Brewers Guild happy hour at home. As always, I am Beth Demon on behalf of the San Diego Brewers Guild. You can find me on Instagram at The Delighted Bite or on Twitter at Delighted Bite, whatever strikes your fancy. But yeah, as always, we do this every single week. And a little bit of news, this is going to be the last week that we are starting at 3 p.m. So I appreciate all of you prompt viewers, but next week we are going to be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So be sure to update your alarms and all your countdowns and things like that. Just so, luckily we're not moving it up an hour. So if you tune in at 3, nothing's happening, and you'll still have a whole hour to await our wonderful weekly interviews with different people in and around San Diego craft beer. So this week I thought we'd start with something a little bit different. Normally I end each broadcast with a couple little sign-offs, Black Lives Matter, drink independent craft beer, local independent craft beer, make sure you're registered to vote, and be cool to one another. But I just thought we'd kick things off with that, just a little positivity to set the tone. So I don't know, it might just be me, but I feel like it has been a week. Maybe it's just this hideous heat wave that San Diego has been going through. I mean, I kind of thought we were done with summer, but apparently we are not. So I don't know, but it's Wednesday and hopefully we'll all make it over the hump together. But luckily we have, as always, an amazing show today with phenomenal guests. And we're going to start things off. GABF, it's, tis the season, and obviously it's going to look a little bit different this year than it has every single other year, but we are going to check in with some of the folks at the BA to talk everything Great American Beer Festival, so stay tuned for that. That'll be first up. Then we are going to take it right back home here to San Diego to a habitual big winner at GABF, the Pizza Port crew. I remember that I was sitting across the arena from them during the awards ceremony last year, where it was just like, Pizza Port, Pizza Port, Pizza Port. They were just going crazy. So we're going to check in with them and see what their, virtual GABF plans are, and just see what's going on with the Pizza Port crew. Then we are going to take it over to the folks at BNS Brewing and Distilling. They're out in Santee, one of the only ones over there in East County, and they had a couple years back a big IPA win that really put them on the map for people who might not have known about them already. So we're going to talk about how that GABF win kind of set the tone for them and IPAs. So then we are going to wrap things up with a repeat guest. We're going to get Chris, the beer educator from Pure Project, on here, which is going to be super great. Not only is Pure Project, they're the next up for the Brewers Guild backed Hops and Harvest dinner and beer collaboration pairing. They were also recently named one of the best places to work in San Diego. So that's great. We're going to talk about that. And Chris is also just like a delight. But before we get too far along, obviously it's time to crack a beer. So, I made a mistake. I hear my kid. I think I want to just make sure my husband's home, because he usually gets home right at 3. He is! Okay, fantastic. We can continue unbothered and unchained by the 3.5-year-old who lives downstairs. But anyway, crack a beer time. So I got a great package from the folks at Baja Brewing Company way down in Cabo, and they sent me one of their new releases. I think it's outside their original 4 releases or whatever, but anyway, it's their Baja Lager La Surfa. So we are going to check that out. I did pop over to Chula Vista's new El Cruce 241 last night for their soft opening, and that's going to be all things Baja all the time: food, wine, beer. So that was cool. Check it out. They just opened. It's from the folks in Ensenada, the Cerveceria Transpeninsular. So anyway, all things Baja. I'm just in kind of a Mexico mood, which is great. Yeah, that's a super straightforward Mexican lager, really easy drinking. I think it's like a little less than 5%. I can't tell because I already put it in my koozie. But yeah, I mean, for today, it's 97 degrees. It's kind of hard to beat a great Mexican lager, especially one that is kept nice and cold by my koozie. So anyway, be sure to check them out. And I would love to see what everybody else is drinking. I'm assuming I'm not drinking alone. So, and we are going to be doing a little bit of an interactive tasting with Chris from Pure Project later. So I've got my backup beer ready to go. But yeah, I see all of the comments and questions. So if you want to chime in and you have a question for me or any of the guests, please do feel free at any time throughout the live stream. Sorry, my bag is falling over. Please do feel free to chime in. It is interactive. I will do my best to get to the questions and things like that. And that's that. Business as usual, moving right along. Like I mentioned, this is going to be the last week. We start at 3 p.m. Next week, we're going to start at 4 p.m. Pacific time, but not to worry. We will be doing lots of updates throughout the week so that you guys can set your clocks forward and hang with that. But one of the other things that I want to talk about, obviously Great American Beer Festival would sort of be happening right now. It is in a virtual setting. We will talk about that. But San Diego Beer Week is coming up. And once again, Sequan Casino Resort is they're going to be the big sponsor, the big support for our local, and beloved Beer Week. So dates are November 6th through 15th. There is going to be a lot more information coming out of the Guild, so keep your eyes peeled for how to participate in this year's somewhat abbreviated and virtual San Diego Beer Week, but there's going to be plenty of great stuff coming up. So be sure to keep checking this Instagram account at SD Brewers, as well as sdbeer.com, which is the Brewers Guild website, which has all of the information that you need really about anything relating to San Diego craft beer. There's a newsletter, there's employer and employee resources, there's mental health resources, there's a great merch shop with a brand new merch collection called America's Finest Beer, masks, shirts, the whole 9 yards. So please do check that out. And a couple little bits of news that I was just kind of keeping track of. While you're on sdbeer.com, please do check out the new job board that launched a couple of weeks ago. I have been seeing a lot more calls for positions becoming open. North Park, I think they're hiring somebody, Elsmith is hiring somebody. There's actually quite a few different places. So feel free to check out that job board at sdbeer.com. And if you are joining us from outside the San Diego area, please check out Beer Culture, culture with a K. They also have, a job board that launched recently, so be sure to check that out if you are looking to either re-enter or enter for the first time the craft beer scene, really anywhere. But I got an email from the folks over at Karl Strauss that they are doing their collaboration with Society. I'm just going to read my notes here. Originally planned to be brewed and released over the summer, this 6.4% San Diego style IPA is finally here, and we're excited to share it with the world. I'm excited to drink it because obviously, thank you, Sammer. Happy birthday. One of the viewers here and such a great person. It is his birthday. It is also Sesame Street Grover's birthday. So happy birthday to both of you. But anyway, anything with Society and Karl Strauss, obviously is going to be amazing, especially if it's a San Diego style IPA. That is going to be super duper great. So anyway, before we, bring on our first guest, I will say once again, it is interactive. If you have a question, a comment, just want to share a thought or what you're drinking, please do feel free to do that in the comment section below. But now I guess we're just going to get started with the folks over at the BA to talk everything Great American Beer Festival. But it looks like, Ann, you are probably on a computer, which means I'm not able to add you. So if you could just log off real quick and log on your mobile phone, I will be able to add you to the live stream, and that'll make it a little bit easier. So that's just also a note to any other of the future guests. If you are watching this on a computer and not your mobile phone, I'm not going to be able to add you. So go ahead and log off and log on your mobile phone. And if you're just watching and you're not a guest, that's great too. So let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like you are still unable to join, which is no problem. Okay, perfect. So the Great American Beer Festival account is going to log off, log back in, and we are going to get started right away. But yeah, just for the people who are just joining us, a quick rundown of who our guests are going to be. We're going to talk to Ann from the Brewers Association, and we're going to talk everything Great American Beer Festival 2020. Then we're going to tune in with the folks at Pizza Port, who are always huge winners at GABF, and what they're kind of doing during this odd virtual, 2020 fest. Then we're going to go over to East County's BNS Brewing and Distilling to talk about their big win that put them on the map. And then we are going to wrap things up with Chris over at Pure Project to talk about the upcoming Hops and Harvest dinner, as well as a couple other things. So let's take a look and see if we are able to add them. And normally I am able to add people if you are a guest, but you are also completely able to request to be on there. And then I will just when it's your turn, I will do that. Okay, so Ann, I will go ahead and just exactly right. I will add you right now and we will check in Beer Festival. This is a great workaround, no problem.
All right, hey there.
We managed to make it work. How's it going?
Woo, better now, thank you.
Awesome. Well, what are you drinking?
I am drinking one of our GABF Passport hold festival participant beers. This is from La Cumbre in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It is the Project Dank. I don't know if you can see that here, but it's an experimental IPA, nice and hoppy, really good and really cold. So.
Excellent. Very good. Well, let's do a quick intro for people who might not know you. Can you just do a quick intro of who you are, where you work, and what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure. I'm Ann Obenchain. Hi, everybody. I am the marketing director for the Brewers Association and who also produces the Great American Beer Festival. So right now we've got the Great American Beer Festival, the Passport program going on. It started October 1st. Going on through the 18th, 1,100 breweries nationwide. There's 20 in the San Diego area that are offering deals on beer if you have a GABF passport. You can still get that passport at the Great American Beer Festival website. The festival itself kicks off Friday night at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, where we will be live streaming the awards ceremony, where we will be awarding gold, silver, and bronze in 91 categories to some of those best beers in the country. Mm-hmm. And then that moves over to some virtual programming since we're not able to meet in Denver. And that's going to be Friday night and Saturday night.
Well, gold, silver, and bronze for most categories, probably, because I know that that's always quite the discussion when somebody skips a medal. But I'm personally, I get it as a beer judge. I judged for the first time recently for the San Diego International Beer Fest, and there was a couple ones where we were like, nope, just gold and silver, or silver and bronze, or something. So I always think that that's an interesting conversation to have post award. Yeah. But that's just me. But you froze, but you're back, so we can roll with it.
Great. I said every once in a while the judges determine something didn't meet the criteria, so we'll find out on Friday night.
Well, and I imagine judging was, obviously everything changed massively, but from what I understand, judging took place over a really long span of time. Could you talk a little bit about the logistics that went into even being able to put this on still?
Yeah, the logistics to judge 9,000 beers is enormous on its own. And then we added the layer of a pandemic and COVID precautions. So we're fortunate to have a best-in-class competition and events team. So instead of judging 9,000 beers over 6 sessions over 3 days during the festival, we needed to break that out and spread it out over 18 sessions, 18 days and 35 sessions. Oof. So we've had judges. We're so thankful to all the judges who still volunteered their time, drove in or flew in. Most of them drove in, road tripped in from over 21 states to still judge for us at the warehouse in Colorado.
Amazing. Yeah, I actually just filled out my application to judge earlier this year. So I'm kind of grateful that this wasn't my first year, but it certainly would have been trial by fire if that had been the case. So I certainly can appreciate all of the judges still making the trek out there. But just to swing back, you were talking about the passport program. I'm familiar with it, but could you talk a little bit about like what value that would be for like somebody who wants to still participate, like what the ticket price is and kind of what it gets you?
The passport is $20, so super affordable. And then you get it on your phone. San Diego, and it's really dependent on the brewery to decide what is working best for them and what's working, what are the restrictions going on in your city. So it can be a buy one get one. It can be discounts on premise on flights of beer or growlers. It can be discounts on to-go beer or curbside pickup. And then also what that gets you is nine 30-minute programs of what we call Beer TV, exclusive access to that starting Friday night after the awards ceremony, and then again on Saturday night.
So that kind of like the Beer TV, that's not even necessarily for, I assume that would be for people who are maybe in the industry, some high level stuff, but also people who might have just been attending as beer fans. Like, who's it really geared towards?
The programming is really geared toward the beer lover. So if you've been to Denver for the Great American Beer Festival in person and been to our Brewers studio, the programming features some of the titans of the beer industry, telling their stories. It also features some food and beer pairings. So anything ranging from what's in your pantry, in a normal pantry, to what you can pair that beer with, to there's a cooking show with Danny Lee. He's a James Beard Foundation nominee, and he's going to do some Korean cooking and learning about what to pair with the Korean cooking. Mm-hmm. There's some ways on how to learn how glassware can improve your beer experience. And then there's some other trends on what's happening in trends in what we like to call beer culture, so brewing for change. So we have the folks from Raíces here in Denver talking about the Latino beer culture. We have Marcus from Weathered Souls talking about the Black is Beautiful beer project. We also have Garrett Oliver talking about the Michael Jackson Foundation, and the fine ladies from Lady Justice talking about how they're implementing social issues into their brewery and brewing, like they say, brewing for change.
Well, I love that. So, I mean, I'm sure it always helps to be a beer expert, but it's great to hear that you certainly don't have to be one to enjoy the programming that, is going to be GABF virtual this year. And I mean, I'm sure planning an event of this size and magnitude, even though you've been doing it for such a long time, I'm sure there's still quite a bit of planning that goes into it. I mean, are you still are you even looking to 2021 yet? Or is it still just like, let's just get through this and then we'll take a quick breather in 2021?
We are trying to get through this weekend first.
Yeah.
We've got some medals. We've got some medals to award and a show to put on. And then after that, we're going to chat with all the passport holders and all the participating breweries and start making a list of what we learned this year and what we can improve next year, because next year is going to be the 40th Great American Beer Festival.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? Fingers crossed. I would love to be back there in Denver.
Yes.
Wear your masks,
yes.
people, so we can all make GABF happen again in real life. But we actually had one last question before I unfortunately have to let you go. It's from a viewer. Did you have about the same amount of beers to judge this year as in years past?
We did. We had nearly 9,000 beers. So just slightly less than last year. So this competition is even as competitive as all previous years. And I think, for the brewers that were able to brew and enter, it's an incredible feat to be able to participate this year. And in my view, all of them are winners.
Awesome. Well, that's a great note to leave off or to leave on. So everybody just be sure to check out at Great American Beer Festival to keep up with everything. And, Great American Beer Festival's website, you can check out the passport. But thank you so much, Ann, for...
All right. Cheers.
Cheers until next time.
Thanks.
All right. All right, that was Ann from the Brewers Association on to talk everything GABF. But we are going to go now to big GABF winners right here in San Diego. We're going to check in with the Pizza Port crew. So let's bring them on right now and see how they are planning on probably celebrating. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going superb. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me. I'm Jessie over at Pizza Port Brewing Company.
Well, so I mean, when we were starting to talk about putting together this episode, we were like, how, GABF, we'd love to get the
Right.
people from Denver in there, but like Pizza Port is sort of synonymous with San Diego GABF. I mean, I don't even know how many medals you guys have on your belts.
96 at the moment. We're hoping for more on Friday. So here we go.
So you guys doing a viewing party or what?
We are. We're hosting one for our brewers only in the back just because we want to keep it socially distanced and safe. So we have them all nice and spread out. We're going to view it on a big projector, do a nice formal dinner with it. So we're all going to be excited to still be together and still get the feel, but be nice and safe as well.
So how many beers did you guys enter this year?
44 this year.
Between
all 5 locations. So keep your fingers crossed for us.
So which location has the most medals under their belt?
Carlsbad has 45 of our 96. So yeah.
Oh, smokes, I tell you, man. And I think that's the one I've been to the least.
Yeah, they're pretty busy. I heard you had a kiddo, so it's hard to squeeze in there with the family, but it's always so much fun.
Well, OB was my go-to for a long time, but my sister lives in Cardiff now, so I make my way to Solana Beach a decent amount. When you want to keep it OG, go to where you can. It's a win-win. It's
absolutely. They all have their own little funk, but they're all amazing in itself. So yeah.
So you guys, I mean, I mentioned it earlier on here. Last year for the award ceremony, I remember I was sitting a little bit over to the left of the whole crew, and I mean, I was just like, this is like, I need to be sitting over there with them because their enthusiasm is just like crazy infectious. Like you guys are just like winning right and left. I mean,
aww. You're so sweet. Yeah, we're one big family. We definitely bring the whole crew out, so it's fun. You get that really good energy, and we have tons of friends in the brewing industry too, so we always cheer extra loud for them. But yeah, it's just an amazing experience. You're just wired when you're in that room, so it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, last year was actually my first year going in person because I kind of thought, I was like, it seems like a little much, like way too many people, not really my vibe. And then I got there and I was like, oh, never, this is the shit.
Like, it's 100% worth it. Every moment that you spend there is so amazing. You see all of your friends from around the country. Everything is just so SD beer culture in Denver there. It's camaraderie left and right. Everybody's happy to be there, learn about your beer. It's phenomenal.
And then, obviously have celebratory beers at Bierstadt later, gotta get
absolutely. Those lagers go down way too fast there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm certainly hoping to, make it back out there 2021. I was extremely sad to cancel my flight, but I guess I've got like a great Southwest voucher now for.
Oh yeah, you got your points, girl. You're good.
Yeah. I'll be ready. So, how many times have you been to GABF?
This would have been my 8th year going.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I've been with Pizza Port for 10 years and so 8 years it would have been. So
I mean, that sort of seems to be very normal for the Pizza Port crew. I mean, you're kind of crew for life. Is that
they're my second family. Absolutely. I love all of them so very much. And like I said, just the camaraderie and family, they're a great, great company to work for.
So what do you anticipate? You sent in a boatload of beers, but what are you feeling like has got a really good shot this year?
Oh man, that's always such a tough question. You never know. I'm sure if you talk to each one of our brewers, their beer is going to win, But we are very well known for our English milds and Belgians when it comes to GABF wins. We're hoping for an IPA because that's always a steal of a deal. Last year we won for Chronic, which is our heavily distributed amber ale, which was amazing for that beer because, it's in several different states and it's still tried and true. So that was very awesome to see.
Well, so what are some of the states that people can find your beer if they aren't right here in San Diego?
So we distribute all of California, Nevada, and then also Arizona for now. Hopefully to expand in the near future, but those are our 3 states at this time. Sometimes Portland here and there.
There you go. So are you guys participating in this passport program? I actually didn't check to see who was doing it.
No, you're good. Unfortunately, Pizza Port itself is not, but our sisters and brothers over at Lost Abbey are. So Gina, our owner, and Tommy will be on the 8 o'clock slot for the live feed that she was talking about earlier, talking about Pete Sport and Lost Abbey together.
I mean, just talking about the family of brands, of which there are so many.
I know. Yes, we've grown.
Definitely. Well, let's talk, I mean, real quick, Tiny Bubbles. I mean, we had Tommy on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. I have to say, that Padres game the other day where we were just like losing like crazy, and then we
Right.
like coming back and just crushing it. I had given my neighbor a can of Slam Diego, and I was just like,
Right.
oh, this will get us back there. And he was just like, are you a witch? Like, this will work. So I feel like Slam Diego is like our go-to Padres win now. It didn't help us the very last game, but
That's okay. We win some, we lose some. But yes, Tiny Bubbles is phenomenal, nice and dry, delicious. Hopefully we'll be drinking some of it Friday night watching the award ceremony.
hopefully. Well, what's your beer of choice? What's going to be the first time in your hand watching the ceremony?
Well, right now I'm drinking today's forecast, which is our seasonal release IPA. So that's my go-to right now. But we also drove all around LA and everything, collected some beers from our friends to enjoy during the ceremony, just kind of spice things up. So we got some Green Chief, some Highland Park, Lost Abbey will be there, Beechwood. We're enjoying and watching the ceremony. So yeah, I'm stoked.
So everywhere from San Diego to Los Angeles.
Yeah, I didn't drive that far for beer.
Exactly.
It's quite the trek at 100 degrees out.
Well, and that's one of the good things about, one of the only good things about this whole pandemic is I've been able to get my hands on stuff that I normally wouldn't. And,
Right.
Bottlecraft does such a great job of getting stuff in from, far away or, more than 3+ hours away. But, I was able to order some beer from Oakland and like have it delivered to my door.
Yeah. All the shipping and everything that's going on now, people are getting very creative. I was just saying the other day is that all of us are so much better problem solvers than we were before this. So there's always an upside, right?
Hey, we got to take the wins where we can get them. And I mean, I just feel everybody's kind of cranking out. I like to feel like if you've made it this far, you're probably doing okay. You're doing okay. Like you're
Right.
still okay. Awesome. And I just feel like so many great collaborations have happened lately,
Right.
which I'm sure has a whole slew of, challenges in itself, just getting together and what have
Right.
you. But I'm loving, I feel like San Diego beer is really known for a tight-knit community. And I feel like we've done a good job of really rallying around each other during this.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how many times I can say like the camaraderie in one Instagram live feed, but truly that's what the beer industry is. And you see that tenfold in San Diego Brewers. So it's really amazing to see, especially when we go through great feats like this. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing a couple more medals under your belt. I had literally had no idea. I was like, man, they've got a lot. Like, who knows? But I was like, oh my God. I mean, we're sure when you get that 100th, that's going to be like.
Hopefully Friday, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I'm feeling pretty confident about y'all's chances, especially, with, that's awesome that you're able to enter so many. And it's just like, they're all good. Like they're all good. They're all good. So I love that. I love that we've got a comment from Mexico, our friends down in Baja. So we've got people watching all over the place. And
fun.
That's great. So real quick before we unfortunately have to sign off, what is the best way for people to keep up with everything that's going on at Pizza Port?
Definitely Instagram feed and Facebook. We have an amazing marketing guy, so definitely check there. We just did a brand new website. We always have info going up. And then obviously just stop into their pubs. All of our employees are really knowledgeable, super friendly. Just say hi and ask what's going on. We'd love to help you guys out.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for checking in with us. I will certainly be tuning into the awards and having a little cheer by myself. But good everybody over there. And thanks for tuning in with us.
Thank you so much for having us. Cheers.
Cheers. All right. That was the folks over at Pizza Port who are hoping to bring home lucky number 100 and then some from GABF this year. And I certainly wish them all the best. And I think their chances are pretty good. So, but we're going to take it a little bit east now and talk to BNS, who had a huge win a couple years back. And we're going to talk about what that meant for them, GABF wise. Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Cheers. Let's do a quick intro before we dive right into it. Who you are and where you are.
So my name is Blake. I am one of the guys that helps with operations here at BNS Brewing and Distilling Company. And we really are just a genuine father-son, mom and pop shop kind of business out here in Santee.
Yeah, right next to the drive-through, in case anybody's curious. So what are you drinking today?
Of course, a GABF medal-winning Revolver IPA. I believe this was 2015. Yeah, yeah.
5 years ago. I just remember. Well, let's talk about that win, because that's really something that I think is interesting. You guys are a little bit low key. You're in a place where there aren't many other breweries around in San Diego, which is, a testament to that. I mean, there's just so few places left like that. And I feel like it took everybody by storm. But I mean, I've had Revolver. That's a gold medal beer. Talk about what it was like winning that back in 2015.
That was, by all means, a surprise, really. I mean, I was still off in college at the time, but it was my dad, the owner, as well as our head brewer and some of the crew that were out there. We were, I don't even think we were even 2 years into the company having been figured out at that point. And
right.
All shouts out to our head brewer, Dan Jensen. He is the designer, developer, and producer of all the beers, as well as the mash for our spirits here at BNS. And he had quite a resume before he decided to come with us, because he wanted to get a change in his life. It was unbelievable. I got to see it, a live video that my dad was sending me while they were all in the stands. Obviously, BNS, who are they? They're just, they're another San Diego brewery kind of a thing. But no, as far as when you really put the perspective to it of, if you were to just say like that competition was just San Diego, that was already quite a broad reach to go for. And then like last year's GABF, which we went to as well, there's thousands. And we're definitely seeing a lot of game coming up with the Midwest area, which is really cool to see. We saw a lot of that in the awards last year.
Yeah.
But by all means, it was just a surprise. I mean, we just got our foot on the ground. The Revolver was like a year and a half old beer at that point. Like, it was just our flagship IPA. It's a very gun-toting old Western style over here. You'll see the Red Barn, taxidermy, and things like that. But it was by all means breathtaking. It was really cool to be a part of that.
Awesome. Well, talk to me a little bit about the recipe. Like, what do you think makes Revolver such a standout IPA, and the sea of IPAs even here in San Diego?
I honestly couldn't answer that for you, Dan. We asked him similar questions. Certainly, we had those for him when he had made it, and he's just like, no, I don't know, I just did it right, I guess. He's been brewing for other companies over the years, South Norte, Coronado, etc. He definitely has the experience behind him. But when he came here, the big thing was like, if you want this company to have an IPA in our product line, you think you can do a good one, go ahead. Same with the Golden Ale, same with the Stout, same with the Red. There was zero restriction on what we wanted to actually be made for our product line. And we really just gave him full control, just like whatever you think you can do good and do best, go ahead and do it. We're fully standing behind you as far as the product is concerned. And he really shows it. But he's a real modest guy, as far as saying, like, what's your secret to making, like, the GABF winning beer that's from, like, a less than 2-year-old company at the time. It's really all him, man. He's just got the experience behind it.
Amazing. So talk to me a little bit about the other beers that you guys have. You mentioned a couple of the other ones, but like what's on tap right now, or what could people get right now if they were to walk in?
Everything in our standard, the Revolver, the Lawmaker, Old Prospector, which is a gold GABF winner, as well as a World Beer Cup gold winner.
Nice.
That was 2016, both of those, I believe. And also have a silver for our Gatling Gun Imperial Stout, or as we like to say, a glorified motor oil. That's still my favorite, to be honest with you. I love that one. But
nice.
We have all of that. We do have coming up for our fishermen that may be listening today, bloodydecks.com. They're a big fishing supply website and whatnot. We just figured out the logistics to doing a contract brew for them, which will be the Yellowtail Tuna Golden Ale. That will be available here at our tap shortly, as well as distribution once we get the actual cans in line. We also do have a new Golden Ale, lightly hopped. It is the Rusty Old 45. Our other good one. It's been some time since we named it and twisted the recipe, so we got to get away from the Joe Exotic theme of the name of the beer, but we still have our Tiger Bites Red IPA.
Fair enough. Yeah, I feel like the Joe Exotic ship has sort of sailed, so that's probably good to get away from.
I mean, what was that, like 7 months ago now? I feel like that was yesterday, but also a time travel away.
Yeah, yeah. Well, time has no meaning right now, so like, who knows? It could have been yesterday. Like, I just don't know anymore.
Yeah, we're all on autopilot.
We're all on autopilot, but talk a little bit about the distilling side of things, because I feel like you're one of the few breweries still doing both in San Diego. There was a handful, and you're one of the only ones left. So talk a little about that.
Now you're getting into my territory. Me
Right.
and my father, that the distillery side of things is really where we dive in. We let Dan, like I mentioned, have full control of what beers come in or out.
You're doing fine. Good call.
Yeah, because we don't know anything. We know our spirits. That's why we ended up getting into that half of the company's entities. But we have all of the good classic American whiskeys available. We do make a bourbon, not neutral grain spirit. Everything is produced here on site. We do a single malt whiskey, a peated version of single malt whiskey for our Scotch lovers. By special request during Corona, we obviously have moonshine available for those. That is a popular one out here in Santee. We do vodka, we do gin, we do brandy, a pretty rare one, but we had a funny little relationship go on that led to that.
Sweet.
And then during Corona, this is kind of the big thing that happened on this half of the company for us is canned cocktails. A lot of legislative changes and things like that, so we really started getting away from bottles of spirits aside from the ones that were popular. What we noticed right away was bourbon just disappeared when Corona hit. It was really impressive how quickly and how often people were coming by, get a bottle of bourbon, things like that. But we really dove into, because we already had the canning line, we already have the supplies. We had a whole bunch of 12-ounce Lawmaker cans that was like a prior graphic and everything. So they were obsolete. And we spent about 2 weeks or so straight really just diving into what would people want, what would they be looking for, what's something new on top of those we can also provide, and really just worked on recipe development and design from there. Pretty much all ingredients are actually made scratch here. Our lime to limeade, mango, so on. But right now our general product line on that, while COVID lasts, that's a huge asterisk on the matter, by the way. Right now we do mango margaritas with moonshine, cherry limeades with vodka. We have it called right now I'll Have the Usual, which is our single malt whiskey with cola and a hint of lime already in it.
Okay.
And we really shoot to have like a one-off recipe once every 2 weeks. Like I did a batch of raspberry gimlets to finish off our most recent gin batch that we had sold out of. Don't come at me if we got it, because we do not.
Fair enough.
We did a raspberry gimlet out of that, and that was using the same raspberry puree for our raspberry wheat ale that we actually also have on tap here. That's pretty much the show.
Awesome. Well, so I mean, you guys are kind of out on an island a little bit in Santee. I mean, there's really not much around you beer, craft brewery wise. How does that kind of affect what you guys decide to make? I mean, you talked a little bit about moonshine being kind of a Santee thing. Is tight. Talk about how that, how you navigate that being kind of an oasis out there of craft beer. Like, it's probably one of the first places where people who live in Santee are getting like local independent craft beer from the source if they're not, coming down to North Park.
Oh yeah, definitely. The main thing, and this came from a marketing standpoint, logistics, every development of beer standpoint, is we just got to be a part of the community. Like I said, we are out here, so in a sense, it's like us and two other breweries, and this is kind of our world, unless you are one of the bigger guys who can really get your distribution chains out to wherever you want.
Right.
So what we really had to do was dive into first our facility. We in a sense had to make an alcoholic community center, if you will.
Yeah.
We definitely had to build out the place, make the space, which as Corona came, absolutely saved us. We have plenty of outside seating as things have been changing back and forth, this, that, and the other. But it was really listening to our regulars. We've had regulars that have been here religiously 5+ years. We know them. We know their wives, their kids. We've gone to family events with them.
Nice.
It was absolutely listening to what we were hearing from the community. Say, like, we've come out with a batch years ago that was like, no one really cared for it. It was too roasted. Like it was a real black coffee version of our Gallon Gun Imperial Stout. And that wasn't too much of a thing for the locals, except for the crowd of people who would venture out to actually, check a box of a brewery they've tried and things like that.
Sure.
But it was always, we would just take the resonance from the community and we would give it back to them. That was really in all facets of operating a good brewery and staying a good brewery. That was the main thing. It's just, you got to listen to the community, you got to be a part of it, and stick with it.
Absolutely. Well, one last question before I have to let you go. Did you enter any beers into GABF this year?
This year we did not. No, we're focusing a lot on developing inside. Like pretty soon we're going to be having our brand new grain silo coming in.
Nice.
We remodel a lot of stuff on the inside, and given this Corona thing, the main thing is we are actually possibly looking at our own cocktail brand in the future. Probably its own entity's name, manufactured, produced, and canned by BNS. But we think we're really going to go in that direction. But as soon as this Corona stuff's over with, we'll be right back at the GABF. We love going out there every year just for the excitement and the crowd. It's really great.
Heck yeah. Well, I certainly look forward to seeing you out there in Denver as well. But thank you so much for checking in with us, giving us an update, and looking forward to trying some new stuff soon. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you very much.
All right. Cheers.
Have a good one.
Awesome. Well, we are going to wrap things up with Chris from Pure Project, who I see already requested to be in there. So, okay. I got to get the beer I was saving out. All right. Hello.
Beth, how's it going?
It's going so good. Okay, so this is normally I only drink one beer on these, but I was like, well, I can't like drink it first thing when when you're the last. So I like shoved it in my healthy baby bag, which is what they sent me home from the hospital, and with a bunch of breastfeeding supplies. But it's a very good cold bag.
Nice and cool. There you go. Heck yeah.
Very good. So you've been on before. I'm sure so many people know who you are, but let's do a quick intro just in case.
Awesome. Hello, how's it going, guys? My name is Chris Leguizamon. I'm an advanced sister-round and education program manager here in Pure Project Brewing. And basically, Beth and I, let's talk about the upcoming San Diego Brewers Guild event. And thank you for having me, too.
Of course. Well, I would like to add to your, one of your titles is Beer Fairy, because I came out yesterday on my porch at 9:30 and there was a 4-pack of these waiting for me. So I am super looking forward to cracking this open. Maybe I should have waited, but I feel
it's all good.
I feel like I've waited like 28 hours, so I'm ready.
And it's just staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, Beth.
Cheers so much. So, okay. So Hops and Harvest, it's a Brewers Guild collaboration with different breweries to do different food and beer pairings. So talk a little bit about what Pure Project has planned.
Exactly. So basically the San Diego Brewers Guild is looking at a very unique part of the beer industry that we're kind of missing during quarantine, and it's that beer dinner type of environment. So basically, I know Society, Lost Abbey, Second Chance did it. Now it's time for Pure Project to come up at bat. So we're teaming up with MIHO. Chef Ryan did the entire 4-course meal, and the whole idea is purchase it. You'll be coming here to our tasting room up in Miramar, pick it up. 4-pack of beers are already set aside, and then you come home, kick back, relax. If there's a park that you're able to enjoy an alcoholic beverage, such as Balboa Park,
Pioneer Park,
toss down the blankets, put on maybe like a little tripod, put the YouTube channel or the YouTube video that we're going to be making, and then just kick back, relax. It's a dinner for two, and that's what it's all about. It's the small things in life, so we're just excited to be part of it.
Well, I'm certainly excited to be drinking this murky IPA. So quick aside, I'm on the Slack channel for all Good Beer Hunting contributors. And somebody was like, oh, I found a new name for hazies. They call it murky. And everybody was talking about murky. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to need you guys to back up because I know who you're talking about. And if you have a problem with murky, we're going to have to fight because I have embraced the murk. I've embraced it. And I feel like
heck yeah, girl. We've been doing it for 3 years. It's on our labels. It says Embrace the Merc somewhere. Oh, it doesn't have it on here. Well, that's awkward.
Somebody's fired. I'm totally kidding.
Probably me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I should have a glass, but it's last time I spilled it all over my keyboard. It's just, I'm a disaster. So I'm a can, I'm going with the Alchemist, like drink from the can type situation.
There you go.
That's where I'm going with that. But yeah, 6.5 IPA. I mean, talk a little bit about this beer and what it's going to be paired with during the dinner.
Exactly. So this is kind of like a preview, kind of like an insider. If you guys are enjoying our Fingers of Gold, definitely hit it in the comments. But basically, Chef Ryan's talking to us, and he's like, here's a couple dishes I have in mind. And one of them is going to be a MIHO marinade pork loin. And I'm sitting there with Melissa, and I'm like, all right, MIHO, that's Cuban inspired. So that's like orange, garlic. There's some arugula, some roasted apple chutney. And I'm like, let's find something that we have. Murky IPA. Why? Because like murky IPAs and hazy IPAs haven't been around for too long, and they're not in the beer pairing books yet. Like no one's like, so this is everywhere, but what is the proper one? For us, it's pork loin because it's a lean type of meat. You don't need much bitterness coming off of it. Let's do some sensory because I like to talk about beer. Beth, you want to break down this beer with me?
Let's break it down. Let's break it down. So, I mean, I'm definitely getting some obviously a lot of like super fruit, like cantaloupe, melon, citrus, obviously a ton of hops, not super bitter. It's still like really nice and balanced.
And it's all about that. There's this, so we use Citra, Mandarina Bavaria, so we're pushing that sweet citrus. We added Cashmere Motueka, the ones that we've selected, a little bit more like raw coconut. There's a little bit of pineapple note, but what makes this really special, there's a subtle note of dankness. So you have like orange and yellow fruit, but then there's a little bit like that darker green type of characteristics, which is dank for us. So we're thinking sweet citrus, MIHO marinade, bringing that flavor bridge, that malty wheat backbone, just pairing really nicely. It's almost like adding a slab of white bread to your pork slider. And then the arugula providing a really nice bitterness. We just canned this, and it's already a fan favorite.
So good. It's so good. Yeah, because I'm like, pork, I could have that with like a mango chutney or something like that, like just a little bit of sweet to balance out the savory. But this does have like that nice little dank bitterness, like right at the end. It's not cloying at all.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of personality. And one thing I like to say is, when people are like, oh, Pure Project, like they've got 12 ingredients in their hazy IPAs and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. And you can taste every single one of them. Like it's not muddled. It's all very clear. They have a lot of like individual personality, and they work together really well. So I think that's a super hard thing to pull off personally.
It's going to be a fun one. There's so much balance between these beers. And like you said, every part has a certain dynamic, and you're like, okay, I pick up this, that. What would I add to pork loin? Of course, like a mango chutney. Boom. Hey, guess what? That mango or like sweet citrus or those type of flavors provided by the beer, bringing everything together. It's going to be an epic one.
It's going to be awesome. So if people don't have their tickets yet, where and when and how much, what are the specs of that?
Absolutely. So this is going to be going down San Diego Brewers Guild Hop Harvest next Friday, October 23rd from 4 to 6. Purchase your tickets by Monday. We might, depending on how sales are going, we might extend it to Wednesday. But just go on purebrewing.org or sdbeer.com. It's going to be right at the top during events. And you'll be purchasing your 4 beers, including Fingers of Gold, Tropical Mist, our limited release of a West Coast double IPA called Bonsai Beach. And then finally, you also get this bottle. This is a rum barrel-aged sour with organic banana, organic coconut, and organic Tahitian vanilla beans. And we're going to pair that, I know, right? We're going to pair that with a like chocolate malt cake. There's going to be a little bit of like white chocolate mousse, so that vanilla bean characteristic, and some hazelnut on the cake. So you're going to have like hazelnut, banana, a lot of like flavor affinities. And you're just going to be like, who would have thought, first off, a rum barrel-aged sour with banana, coconut, vanilla bean with chocolate cake, and then there's like, I don't know. It's going to be rad, and you're going to be doing this from the comfort of your own home. Purchase your tickets and kick back, relax, do it with a roommate, do it with a significant other. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be safe. And pickup is here at Pure Project Miramar. It's $75, dinner for 2, including beers, including food. I've done the society one, and they give you, this is like top-notch food. Like this food is like bomb.
Yeah. So what you're saying is expect to gain the quarantine 15 just from this meal, which I'm down with.
Right?
Okay. I think I'm going to get my ticket because that sounds insane. And that bottle sounds ridiculous, and I love it. All right. Well, I unfortunately have to let you go. I am so excited about this. This sounds
Thank you.
AF. Thank you for the beer. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for being a great human being, and we will chat soon.
Awesome. Beth, you're the best. Appreciate you, girl.
All right. Cheers. That was Chris from Pure Project. We didn't even talk about how they were named one of the best places to work in San Diego, but whatever. We know about it. They're great. We love them. Pure Project, you were in my heart forever. Embrace the Merc if you haven't already. But that does bring us to the end of our show. I didn't even have to get to my terrible jokes and what have you. But just remember, next week we start at 4 p.m. Pacific time instead of 3 p.m. So that is going to be starting next week. It is still going to be at the same place right here at SD Brewers on Instagram. And we are still going to be checking in with all of the superstars of San Diego craft beer and beyond. So until then, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I am Beth Demon. You can find me at The Delighted Bite here on Instagram or just at Delighted Bite on Twitter. If you have any questions, you'd like to be on a future show, please do email us info@sdbeer.com. And until then, remember, Black Lives Matter, drink local independent craft beer, make sure you're registered to vote, and be cool to one another. Until next week, thanks so much for tuning in. Cheers.